So we're going to look at case studies, because case method is very important for teaching and research, and we want to publish some cases from the EU project. And in Cranfield University they have the case centre, and when you buy a Harvard case, a case from anywhere in the world, they collect these cases and you can buy them from this case centre. So we can actually publish cases, we just have to teach them once, make some teaching notes, and then we can put cases on the internet. So hopefully the SHARPEN project will produce a case. Clearly it has to be on HR in SMEs. So you have to analyse your own case, and we're going to look at a case tomorrow morning to use the tools, the techniques of case analysis. Danuka will follow me and he'll look particularly at what is wrong with the case method. So you go to Harvard, and Harvard's been selling cases like how wonderful Enron is, how wonderful the Icelandic banking, and they were disasters. Okay? So Danuka will look at critique, and then Alex has some work for you to do to start a case template. Okay? So what is a case, and how do you analyse one? So a case, I mean this is a case, yes, a computer case. So a few researchers have written about cases, and one researcher, Reagan, talks about casing. So you actually get something with boundaries. You need a kind of boundary. So I guess you have a regional boundary, or you have an industry boundary, and you need to sort of package it. How do you get a case, like a gift or a box? How do you box it and hand it over to people to learn from a case? Okay, so you need to define what your case looks like. So analysing cases is quite tricky. If you go to Harvard for an MBA, you maybe do hundreds and hundreds of cases. Okay, so for years, Harvard was founded in just over 100 years ago. The case method was the key signature, the key method at Harvard. And then they had a new dean, an Indian dean, a few years ago, Nitin Noria. And Nitin Noria was tasked in their anniversary in 2008. They did a few case studies on case method, and they decided they need to do a different method. They need to do more field work. So now they send students like you, groups of students, mainly to Asia actually, and get them to do live cases. Because dead cases aren't always the best way of teaching cases. You need something that's living. So we're going to look at how do you critically analyse it. And a good question to start with, what is it a case of? Okay? Because you need some kind of concept, you need some kind of theory, you need some kind of framework. So what is this picture a case of, do you think? How do you frame this? What is this?
I think it's the case of some backgrounds that have specific situations and specific problems that we should solve. And in this picture is a rhino.
Yeah.
And it has some weird in the colors, and the background of it is quite dry. It seems like environmental problems that we need to find a solution for.
Okay, so already you're starting to develop a story. Anthony, do you see anything in this white rhino?
I would say it's looking very camouflaged.
Yeah.
And, do we need to dig deep for another one?
So maybe quite successfully it looks like it's background. So you have a disaster kind of story, you have how it's successfully maybe surviving because it looks like it's contact. Adela? Where's it? Adela? In the names? Who was the first on the...
Yeah.
Yeah. What does this look like to you? What's the film? What's the story? What's the movie? A positive one or not?
Rather negative.
You think this is a negative story?
Yeah, it's not correct.
It's looking bad for this white rhino.
A bit unclear, just because they end up overlapping quite a lot with all the colours.
So it might be starving, there's no greenery. No. So we all see the white rhino against a white background, but we may have different ways of creating our case, which is fine, okay? But you need an angle, you need a story for your case, I think. So it's a case of what? And clearly we're doing HRM and SME literature. So tonight I will be giving each team an article, an academic article. It's very important that you engage with the theory, okay? So you are university students, and we need to think of what theoretical models, a case of motivation, a case of post-merger integration, is looking like the Kayani case. What is a case of theoretically as well as practically? Yeah? And then you know which literature and models you can use to make sense of that. So my first job was teaching Shakespeare. Actually, I was teaching English, A-level English. So my first degree was in Russian and English. So I like stories. And particularly in strategic management literature, narrative story is becoming more important. How do you give people a sense of the past? What is the story now? And what is our vision for how we create future stories? So when our students, we've been doing this for, we have an international management module, and we've been looking at a frog case study, a Harvard case study, Frog Design, who helped Mac design its laptops in Shanghai. So we're looking at a recruitment case in Shanghai. And we're looking at this as in terms of a play or a novel or poetry. So who are the key people? Who are the key actors? What's the plot? What's the storyline? Is it a disaster movie? Is it a romantic comedy? Is it a cowboy story? What kind of movies do you like in here? What kind of films do you like? Comedies, right. Others?
Chick flick.
Chick flick. Chick flick. Angela, what movies do you like?
I don't think we know what it means. Chick flick?
Rom-com.
Rom-com, okay.
Yeah.
Romantic comedy.
Well, like Bridget Jones.
Yeah.
Bridget
Yeah.
Jones.
Angela, it's a natural animal.
You like animal movies?
Documentaries or...
Yeah, maybe documentaries.
Documentaries, David Attenborough.
Yes.
Okay, so if your case were made into a movie, if Steven Spielberg, decided to do your case study, what kind of science fiction would it be? Disaster movie or what? So what's the plot? The ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. Who are the key players? Who are the actors? Who's the CEO? Who are the HR directors and so on? Who are the interesting people? What's the context? You've given us the regional context, but also we had ours, we had a 2018 strategy. So what's happening in 2017? So what's happening, it's interesting, in 2017? Finland? Who's going to visit you this week? Who's visiting Finland?
Chinese. What?
Chinese.
Chinese.
President, before he goes to visit Trump.
Finland first, Trump second.
Absolutely. So what is special about Lithuania? The highest, whatever, the lowest, the best, greatest. And what's happening in 2017? I think history is very important. So I have a Finnish professor, colleague, visiting Huddersfield. He's terrified of NATO. Not in NATO. Finland's not in NATO. Russian anniversary, 1917. Context is very, very important. So try and bring out the colour of the context of where you are. So time in strategy is very important, and then the changes. So things are changing constantly. So it's not just like a photograph, but it's like a video. So you need to make your case kind of move with the times, ups and downs, what's happening in 3D. So change is inevitable. We need to keep changing for our future strategy. You can't change the same. And often cases have a cliffhanger. So, what's happened next? And you have to decide what is the future, what are the options. So do nothing, do something terrible, or do something, gradual, slowly. So you want to kind of have a little bit of tension in your case. So Czech Republic, do you have Czechoslovakia? Sorry. Do you have any tension? Do you have a cliffhanger in your cases? Do you have maybe bankrupt or?
You mean in the firms, in the companies
firms.
we were visiting?
Yeah.
I think there's the brewery. They're not sure if they will have if they will continue production. Is it right?
Yeah.
Because they lack manual workers.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have
So-
to get robots or
We have
something?
a
I'm not sure. It's a small enterprise, so
Yeah.
probably not robots, but
More machinery.
they just need more workers.
Or what?
Yes.
And
We have a really low unemployment rate in the Czech
Yeah.
Republic.
So if you run out of workers,
Yes.
what will happen?
there's
Yeah.
there's
There
no
There
work.
are no workers.
You recruit abroad. You import workers.
They have to import poor English people. So what's your cliffhanger, I guess? And what could go horribly wrong? So with a hospice, bad publicity. You only need a case of somebody dying too quickly or something, against the law, and then you'd be really in trouble. So try and create that tension that you would get in a movie. Climax, something exciting, horror.